Bolivian Foreign Minister Rogelio Maita received his Brazilian counterpart Mauro Vieira to review their bilateral and regional integration agenda. Russia blames Ukraine, Washington, and NATO for the assassination attempt against Russian President Vladimir Putin. Israeli occupation forces killed 3 Palestinians in a new military incursion in Nablus in occupied Palestine. Hello, welcome to From the South. I'm Mara Marrero from the teleSUR headquarters in Caracas, Venezuela. We begin with the news. Stay with us. On Thursday, Bolivian Foreign Minister Rogelio Maita received his Brazilian counterpart Mauro Vieira to review their bilateral and regional integration agenda. After the meeting, both foreign ministers offered a joint press conference to highlight the process of work agenda of both officials. Foreign Minister Rogelio Maita welcomed the call of Brazilian President Lula da Silva for a summit of presidents to be held on the end of May. Since Minister Mauro Vieira thanks Maita for his hospitality and affirmed that he will hold meetings with President Arce, Vice President David Choquehuanca, and the President of the Chamber of Deputies, Jerjes Mercado. In Peru, President Dina Boluarte has rejected a report issued by the Inter-American Commission on Human Rights regarding the December 2020 protests. President Boluarte specifically objected the report referring to clash casualties as extrajudicial executions and the use of the word massacred. The report concluded that grave violations of human rights were committed by the authorities during the anti-government protests stated from last December the 7th, when then President Pedro Castillo was dismissed by the Congress and arrested till January the 23rd. In all, 60 people died, including 1 police officer, and close to 1,000 others were injured. Ecuadorian President Guillermo Lasso signed on Wednesday a decree authorizing the armed forces to carry out operations against terrorism as part of a strategy to put an end to the wave of violence shaking the country. According to the executive decree 730, the armed forces must carry out operations to confront terrorist organizations using all the tools at their disposal and in coordination with the police. The decree responds to a call of the State of Public Security Council, which on April the 27th told President Lasso to take serious actions to combat terrorism. President Lasso denounced leaves a legal vacuum due to the ambiguity in the determining who are terrorists. In Kiev, the meeting of ministers of culture of the group of 77 plus China began on Thursday at the Havana Convention Palace, condemned by the host country as a pro-temper president of the organization in 2023. At the opening of the meeting, sponsored by the United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organizations, UNESCO, Cuban Minister of Culture Alpidio Alonso informed that representatives of the 75 countries are participating, 57 of them in person and 18 virtually. Alonso explained that humanity is witnessing a scenario plagued by a multi-systemic crisis that impact on all sectors of social and economic life, among them the cultural sector. The Office of the United Nations High Commissioner for Human Rights in Mexico condemned the assassination last Tuesday of Teresa Magueyal, mother of a disappeared person and advocate for the disappeared person's relative. Magueyal was shot by an unknown person in the town of San Miguel Octopan when she was riding a bicycle. The collective Una Promesa por Cumplir, a promise to fulfill, confirmed that Teresa was a member of the collective and was looking for her son, Jose Luis Apaseo Magueyal, who disappeared on April 6, 2020 in San Miguel de Octopan. Several organizations condemned the murder and demand justice for her case. Mexico's army welcomed a new search party on Wednesday to gift from Turkey following the death of Mexican rescue dog who had been helping to find survivors of Ferrari massive earthquake near the Syrian border. The 3-month-old German Shepherd will join Mexico's renowned canine unit specialized in finding survivors in a country prone to earthquakes and other natural disasters. After an online vote, the puppy has been named Arkadas, which means friends in Turkish. Arkadas will be trained by the same trainer who cared for the Proteo, the rescue dog that died in a mission in Turkey. Mexico deploys rescue units and dogs to Turkey after the magnitude 7.8 earthquake shook a huge area near the southern border with Syria, causing at least 54,000 fatalities across both nations. Let's take a very short break now, but remember you can now follow us on our TikTok account teleSUR English, in which you will be able to see news in different formats, news updates, and more. Stay tuned for more news. Welcome back to From the South. On Thursday, Moscow blamed Washington and NATO for the assassination attempt against Russian President Vladimir Putin. The spokeswoman of the Russian Foreign Ministry, Maria Zakharova, called as uncountable the Kiev regime for the manicide attempt. Also, its supporters in Washington, London, and in general, NATO as responsible for this sinister. Zakharova stressed that there is no doubt that behind the attack is the hand of the President Zelensky, who has long and consistently supported an EU-series method against the Russian civilians, infrastructure, and population. On Wednesday, Russia's investigation committee announced the opening of a criminal case for terrorism after a drone attack against the Kremlin. In the same context, China Foreign Minister's spokesperson Mao Ning said all parties should refrain from any actions that could further scale the situation after Russia blamed Ukraine for the foiled drone attack aimed at Putin.
We have noticed relevant reports. China's position on the Ukraine crisis is consistent and clear. All parties should refrain from any action that could further escalate the situation.
On Thursday in Russia, the governor of the province of Rostov-on-Don, Vasily Golubev, confirmed that a drone crashed on the facilities of an oil derivatives plant. According to Golubev, the unnamed aerial vehicle exploded after hitting the structures under construction of a flyover at the field facility located in the Krasny district in the west of the province. Golubev said that there were no deaths or injuries and the material damage was minimal, and the firefighters at the facility in Italy put out fire resulting from the drone explosion. On Thursday, authorities announced that Russia cosmonauts have completed 2 of the 3 spacewalks planned to integrate the Nauka module to the International Space Station. According to the Russian Space Agency, Roscosmos cosmonauts Sergei Prokopiev and Dmitry Petalin spent 7 hours and 10 minutes to conclude their second spacewalk. On the mission, they succeeded in transferring a camera lock from the Russian Rostov model to the Nauka, which is designed to healing a payload to the Nauka multi-purpose laboratorial model of the International Space Station. In China, Taiwanese citizens projected the arrival of the U.S. contractors aimed at seal arms sales to Taiwan. Residents of Taiwan's capital city took to the streets on Wednesday to protest against the visit of the U.S. defense contractors. The mobilizations take place within the framework of a visit of a group of 25 U.S. armed businessmen in Taiwan as part of their effort to sell arms and ammunition to the region. Meanwhile, Beijing expressed its disapproval of the visit and warned that such visits only hurt relations between the ally and China.
Neither United States arms sales to Taiwan nor any military cooperation between the United States and Taiwan will bring security or prosperity to the region. They will only lead Taiwan to war and destroy.
teleSUR English continues to grow. You can now tune in from 33 different African countries through StarSat. Dial 461 and join our Latin American alternative broadcast. One final short break and we'll be right back. Don't go away. Welcome back. On Thursday, foreign ministers of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization arrived in India to participate in the summit meeting of the region ministers of China, India, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Pakistan, Russia, Tajikistan, and Uzbekistan. The organization's top diplomats will discuss the agenda for the next meeting of the organization's head of state, which is scheduled to begin on Thursday in India's coastal state of Goa. The 2023 summit marks the first high-level visit by the Pakistani official to neighboring India for more than a decade, with the presence of Pakistan Foreign Affairs Minister Bilawal Bhutto Sardari. Since its foundation in 2001, the Shanghai Cooperation Organization has focused mainly on regional security issues, combating regional terrorism, ethnic separatism, and religious extremism. On Thursday, authorities in India's northeastern state of Manipur deployed army and paramilitary forces to control the violent tribal clashes that broke out at a palace. This strike was called on by the Manipur's All-Tribe Student Union, which held a rally in the Turbun area of Shurikarpur district with thousands of participants. Violence broke between tribal and non-tribal groups over the inclusion of non-tribal Métis community for the scheduled tribe status. Scheduled tribes in India are officially designated as disadvantaged socio-economic groups, and therefore are assigned placement codes in education and jobs to help them improve their lives. Three Palestinians were killed on Thursday morning by Israeli occupation forces, gunfire in a new military incursion in the Jasmina neighborhood in the old city of Nablus in the north of the occupied West Bank. The Palestinian Ministry of Health announced the death of at least 3 people who died from bullet wounds. The Palestinian Red Crescent named the martyrs of Hassan Kanasid, Muhar al-Marsil, and Ibrahim Jaherb, and confirmed 2 of those kills were hit in the faces, and 4 people were transferred to the hospital for treatment, while at least 150 people suffered tear gas inhalation, including school children. With Thursday's assassination so far in 2023, the number of Palestinians killed by Israel troops has risen to 106, including 20 minors. Moreover, the Red Crescent report that on Thursday, Israeli occupation forces killed a Palestinian woman by gunfire in Huwara town, south of the occupied West Bank city of Nablus. According to health officials, Israeli forces opened fire at a victim who has been identified as Eman Sayir Oren, age 26. In the wake of the killing, clashes erupted between the Israeli army and the Palestinian group of Al-Barin in the central West Bank. In Israel on Thursday, demonstrators blocked roads and protested against contentious government plans to overhaul the judiciary. Demonstrators intended to put pressure on parliament members who, after a month-long recess, will reconvene this week. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu passed the overhauls in March after intense pressures as the opposing sides are trying to reach a compromise agreement. On Thursday, new clashes has been reported from Sudan between the army and the rapid support forces after a 7-day ceasefire agreement came into force. A statement of the Sudanese armed forces published on Twitter denounced on the day that the rapid support force attacked their position in the city of Khartoum, and these aggressions were repelled with a high balance of deaths and wounded yet to be specified. It was also said that during the fighting, 80 vehicles of the paramilitary forces had been destroyed. For its part, the rapid support forces also through Twitter accused the army of violating any humanitarian truce and blamed it for attack on the position of its force with artillery and aviation. In this context, South Sudan acting foreign minister Denin Daouden spoke out on Thursday for the direct negotiations between the government of Sudan and the so-called rapid support forces without international mediation. The official added that the intention was to avoid further complication of the situation and said that the axis of the negotiations should be formed by the representative of the sides in the conflict as well as Sudanese leaders and stakeholders. We have come to the end of this news brief, but you can find this and many other stories on our website at telesurenglish.net. You can also use us on our socials, we're on Facebook, Twitter, and on Instagram as well. For TeleSUR English and from the South, I'm Ana Marrero, and thank you for watching.